The rain was falling like it had something to say that night. It whispered against the glass, soft but restless, the kind of rain that makes you remember every moment you ever wished had gone differently. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, half-packed boxes all around me, the dim glow of my phone screen lighting up her name again and again. But I couldn't bring myself to call, not after the silence we'd built between us, a silence heavy enough to drown in. I never thought love could be so quiet and so loud at the same time. CTA first before we dive into what happened that night. If you've ever had someone who made your heart race and your hands shake at the same time, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Whispers of Kindness, where stories like this one find their home. Her name was Lena, the kind of woman who didn't just enter a room, she changed the air in it. The first time I met her, it wasn't fireworks, it was something quieter, a slow warmth that spread through me before I even knew her favorite color. We met in a coffee shop where I worked part-time. She always came in just before closing, the last customer, always with a notebook, always writing something that looked like poetry or pain. One night, after weeks of small smiles and quiet conversations, I asked, "What do you write about?" She looked up, her pen stilling mid-word, and said, "People who leave before they realize they were already home." I didn't know it then, but that line would haunt me. Months passed. We went from strangers to something more, something unnamed but deep. She'd come over, we'd talk for hours about everything, fears, childhoods, dreams we'd buried just to survive. I learned she was running from a past that didn't believe in second chances, and I was trying to prove I was more than the mistakes I'd made. We were both a little broken, but somehow our cracks fit together. It wasn't a perfect love, it was real, and sometimes real hurts before it heals. The first fight we ever had wasn't about something big. It was over a promise I forgot. I was supposed to meet her parents for dinner, but I stayed late at work. When I finally showed up, she didn't say a word. She just looked at me with that quiet disappointment that cuts deeper than shouting ever could. "I just need to know," she said softly, "if I'm something you'll always make time for, or something you'll try to fit in." I had no answer. We didn't talk for 3 weeks after that, and in those weeks life just felt heavier. I'd walk past the places we used to sit, the park bench, the coffee shop window, the bookstore aisle she loved, and I'd see her ghost everywhere. I told myself to move on, that maybe I wasn't the man she needed. But the truth was, she was the only place that ever felt like home. Then, one evening, she called, her voice was trembling. "Can you come over?" I didn't ask why. I just went. When I arrived, her apartment looked half empty, boxes by the door, walls bare. She was moving out. My chest tightened. "Where are you going?" I asked. She turned to me, her eyes glistening with tears that hadn't yet fallen. "I was supposed to move to Portland. New job, new start. But I packed everything and realized something was missing." "What?" I whispered. "You. It's strange how 4 letters can shatter everything you thought was broken beyond repair." We stood there in silence, the kind that feels sacred. Then she took a step closer, close enough for me to feel the warmth of her breath against my neck, close enough for my heartbeat to forget its rhythm. She looked up at me and said, "Move in. With you." For a second, I thought I misheard. The words hung between us, trembling like the rain outside. "I mean it," she continued. "No more halfway, no more distance. I don't want to just visit you in your world anymore. I want to live in it." And all I could do was smile through the tears I didn't even realize. We're there. It's all I've been waiting for. The next morning, we started moving things together. Her books filled my shelves. My clothes shared her closet. Her laughter began echoing through my hallways. And slowly, what used to be my place became our home. There were challenges. Of course there were. She loved mornings. I was a night owl. She organized everything. I lost my keys 3 times a week. But somehow, every difference became a dance. Every fight ended with, "I'm glad we still care enough to argue." One evening, as we sat on the couch, a movie playing faintly in the background, she reached over and whispered, "You ever think about how close we were to not having this?" I nodded, every single day. CTA second. Before I tell you how it all came full circle, if this story touched your heart even a little, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Because every story here reminds us, love is never too late when it's real. A year later, we went back to that same coffee shop where it all began. The same corner table, same rain outside. I watched her write something in her notebook again, and I smiled. "What are you writing about this time?" I asked. She looked up, eyes shining, and said, "People who stay when they realize they're already home." And in that moment, I knew I didn't just find love, I found peace. Ending message. Love isn't about perfect timing or flawless people. It's about the courage to stay when everything tells you to leave. It's about building a home in someone's heart and deciding again and again that this is where you belong. Because sometimes, move in with you doesn't just mean sharing a space. It means finally coming home to the person who was waiting all along.